If they came to you with a blank contract and said, fill in the name, this guy's next for you, who would that be?
I would want to get Jermall Charlo in there. That's the one fight I want to get, and hopefully we can still make it happen. You know, he said he can knock me out, so he better back those words.
Jermall Charlo, a guy who said, you know, he's a super middleweight, not super middleweight, he's the middleweight champion of the world, thinking about coming up here to 168. But I think on his Instagram, he said, one, he doesn't want to fight anybody under the age of 25. And two, you have to be vaccinated in order to fight him. What's your response to what Jermall Charlo said?
Well, if he wants me to get vaccinated, I'll go get vaccinated just for him, you know. But, I mean, I never said nothing about Jermall Charlo. The only thing I said is I would love to get a fight in with him. And then he did an interview. He said he'll knock me out. He'll break my neck. Something like that, bro. And then I'm just like, I'm not going to let nobody talk to me like that. So if you're telling me some words like that, you better be ready to fight me. You better be ready to back that up in the ring. So I say my stuff. I say my piece. I go at him too. And what now? I need a COVID vaccine. I need to be 25 and older. I need proof of GED. You know, it's just, and now he don't even want to come up to 168. He wants to do a catchweight.
Breaking news came out today of Jermall Charlo finally welcoming the David Benavidez smoke by stating on Instagram, "Make it happen, don't run." Now, one thing for sure, David Benavidez really wants this fight. Two things for certain, David Benavidez will be inside of that lion's den come September 2021. After all, he's the one that put a date on it. Now, the positive news here is that now Jermall Charlo is actually on board. I'm glad Jermall Charlo is coming to his senses, because all that vaccination talk, catch weights, so on and so forth, that didn't add up or make any sense at all. And what doesn't make any sense doesn't make any dollars. I told you guys before, I was totally honest when I told you guys, the moment I heard Jermall Charlo mention something about vaccination, I really thought he was joking. I told myself there is no way he's being serious right now. A few days later, Charlo goes back live again and mentions vaccination yet again. So there were no saving him that time. That's not a top of demand you make. You just don't. That's why Benavidez responded on split decision. Does Charlo need to prove of my GEDs too? So the moment Charlo had a quotable demand, not in a good way, David Benavidez hit him right back with a quotable response. At that moment, I realized this fight has to happen. There is no way Jermall Charlo is walking away from this fight for multiple reasons. David Benavidez been on Charlo's neck. Both Jose Benavidez Sr. and David Benavidez, they've been applying all type of pressure on Charlo to fight them. Now keep in mind, it ain't like Jermall Charlo is the weakest link. That's why David Benavidez is after Charlo the hardest. It's actually the contrary. Jermall Charlo is one of the best fighters in the world and is a very deadly fighter for anybody. You can ask Canelo why he gave up his belt to duck Charlo. But that's the reason why David Benavidez is going after Jermall Charlo the hardest, because he wants to fight the best. See, it's one thing if David Benavidez is only going after the weakest link, like maybe Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, so on and so forth. However, David Benavidez is going after everybody, and the one he's going after the hardest happened to be the most deadly, the most dangerous. This is why this fight is a 50-50 fight, and the fight that all of the fans want to see. There's no secret. Canelo completely avoided Charlo at 160, and now Canelo is completely avoiding David Benavidez at 168. This is the boogeyman at 160 versus the boogeyman at 168. It's only right if this fight does come to fruition, even though there is no title on the line. And ironically, Canelo fought a fighter coming off a lost and 2-year layoff, Avni Yildirim, for a title. This fight should be at least for Canelo Alvarez mandatory. This fight should be for the WBC international title. Even if it's not, Canelo Alvarez will be forced to fight the winner, not by the organization, but by the people. Nevertheless, credit goes out to David Benavidez and Jose Benavidez for pushing for this fight at all cost. Due to that, new media is always on board, and now old media, ironically, is on board. Unlike the Teofimo Lopez situation with Devin Haney, now they actually putting pressure on Jermall Charlo. See, the truth of the matter is, if old media and all of these fans keep the same energy they had for Charlo on all of these other fighters, such as Canelo Alvarez when he's avoiding, Ryan Garcia when he's clout chasing, and Teofimo Lopez when he's not telling the truth. Instead of telling Ryan you're the shot caller when he doesn't even have a belt yet, and telling Teofimo Lopez you could fight whoever you want to fight as if he done retired already, then tell Canelo Alvarez leading up to the Avni Yildirim fight that he's the best pound for pound and he always fights the best, knowing the fact that he's fighting for David Benavidez's WBC title, not against David Benavidez, but against Avni Yildirim, who he personally requested to fight. See, if old media and all of these fans keep the same energy on the fighters on the coincidental list and the hope list, then the best will always fight the best every single time, because the pressure will be too real. But at the moment in time, the realest of the real is David Benavidez, because he don't give a damn who he fights. He just wants to fight the best. It's not a coincidence that David Benavidez is the youngest champion at 168 of all time. Not too many fighters won a title at 20 years old. It's only a handful. Mike Tyson, Devin Haney, David Benavidez, and a short list of those. With that being stated, at the end of the day, or at least the night, you see Teofimo avoid Devin Haney for undisputed. They in the same division. It's for all marvels, and old media rather give Teo a way out and water down the sport instead of applying pressure on Teo to fight in Devin to have a clear undisputed champion instead of having a dispute. You see Canelo Alvarez is at 168. He just fought for David Benavidez's belt, but instead of applying pressure on Canelo to fight David Benavidez and the guys he's supposed to fight, they content with Canelo fighting Avni. Then they have the audacity to question who can beat Canelo. How about start with better competition? And not obviously a man that's not in the same division as David Benavidez, Jermall Charlo. Finally, all of the nations done woke up. All of the old media members had a wake-up call. And all of the fans, coincidentally, had a secret meeting to apply all type of pressure on Jermall Charlo to fight David Benavidez. I just wish they applied this type of pressure on Canelo Alvarez 6 years ago when it came to avoiding Charlo and Andre. I could guarantee you, if that was the case, we would have seen them fights by now. Nevertheless, when it came to Jermall Charlo, he thought he was going to get the benefit of the doubt, the way Canelo, Teo, and all of them guys did. Welcome to the coincidental list. That's what tends to happen when you're on that list. Old media tends to treat you how they supposed to treat every single fighter when the fans want to see a fight. Furthermore, when it comes to Jermall Charlo claiming that I'm not a 168 pounder. I'm a 160 pounder. Let's do a catch weight. That's all nonsense. Because it was Jermall Charlo that called out David Benavidez a year ago and said he was going to knock him out. Fast forward a year later, now you can't backtrack. Because at the end of the day, just like David Benavidez said, Jermall Charlo said he's going to break his neck. Those are fighting words. Those are not vaccination words. Those are not catch weight words. Those are not let's negotiate words. Those are let's make a fight. And when I say make a fight, let's make a fight now. Let's agree to it for September, so on and so forth. Nothing more, nothing less. Listen, if you're going to tell a fighter, I'm going to break your neck, it don't matter what division you in, you have to see that man. So as far as I know, Charlo has to see David Benavidez in September. He can go ahead and have a tune-up fight in May or June. Eubank will be the perfect opponent. And then the fight that's going to save this dry year. Charlo versus David Benavidez. So far, this is the biggest fight in 2021. Obviously, Devin Haney just offered Lomachenko a fight as well. That's another big fight. So hopefully we have something to look forward to this year. Nevertheless, we'll see what Jermall Charlo has to say next. I just know one thing. David Benavidez want the fight, and he want the fight now. Let's hope Charlo wants the same. He finally said, make it happen. So hopefully this fight come to fruition. There's no reason for this fight not to happen. For the moment in time, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below and click on the notification bell to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi, TV. Peace, and we out here.